Hello, I'm here with another awesome Brazilian teacher, my friend Fábio. How are you today, my friend?
I'm good. I'm very good. So I'm really happy to be here to be
Mm-hmm.
interviewed by you. This is a pleasure. So my name is Fábio. I'm 46 years old, and I've been teaching English for more than 20 years.
Wow. The pleasure is mine, first of all, to have you on the channel. I found you on TikTok. Your content is amazing. I am swimming into the waters of TikTok now, doing a different kind of content. I am still getting the hang of it, but you look like a pro. Why did you decide to start teaching English, Fabio?
Let me really start saying that I had no idea what English was. I still have my first note. I wrote, please. But do you know how I wrote that?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote PLIS. That was my
Mm,
first word in English. So I had no idea what English was. But I
mm-hmm.
was really impressed because I saw a friend of mine speak English and I fell in love. I fell in love. There was love at the first sight. And I said, I'm going to learn how to speak this language. I didn't even know there was English, believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I started, like studying at school, an English school, and it was really difficult for me in the beginning because, as I said to you, I had no background. I
Mm-hmm.
barely knew the verb to be. So and then, but I did what the teacher always said to me that I should have done. So and I really worked hard, and I always tried not to translate. I really had what I had to do as a student, and I ended
Mm-hmm.
up being a teacher. Actually, I did not have planned to be an English teacher. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to travel abroad, to live abroad. That was one of my
Mm-hmm.
dreams. But back then, I didn't even have money. Just basically, I could not even pay my English course, let alone travel abroad to live abroad. So,
Yeah.
and I ended up being an English teacher. And then, but I wanted to help people who want to learn English. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I was sure about. But I was like a tutor. I used to teach private classes. I was good at math, physics, chemistry. So I was a teacher already, but not an English teacher. When I when I really finished my basic course, it was 3 years and a half. Then I
Mm-hmm.
started teaching my first classes. Like I had a group, and then I that was exactly when I realized I was an English teacher already.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Quite a story. And when it dawned on you, I want to go to social medias now.
Oh, actually, I didn't have planned to do that. So, but some of my students asked me to do it. They said, "Oh, Fabio,
Uh-huh.
I like you as an English teacher. So you were like a good private teacher. So why did you start like working on social media?" It's
Mm-hmm.
something I have to think about. Like, I mean, honestly, I was afraid. You
Mm-hmm.
know that sometimes when you have to start something they have never tried before, it was like, oh, I don't think it's gonna work out. He says, so like, I don't know how to deal with that. So you can try to hire someone that can help you, and then you can really, help some other people that
Yeah.
want to learn English. And
Yeah.
I said, okay, it sounds great. So I can
Yeah.
start. And then I started. No, the other day I was watching one of my first video,
Mm-hmm.
and I compared to the most recent video that I have. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh my god, that was exactly my first video, and you can see how much we can really become better when you start. What
Yeah.
we have to do is take the first step. I always say, so you do not really live for tomorrow. We can do today. So you gotta
Mm-hmm.
really take the first step. That's what I did, and I've been doing
Yes.
that for a year and 4 months, approximately, something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
During your whole career as an English teacher, do you have any moment that you could share with us that you can remember from your students?
Well, one thing that I still sometimes like hear from students that they say
Mm-hmm.
that it's easier sometimes. They have the feeling that they should have classes with some foreigners, like native
Mm-hmm.
speakers.
Yeah.
I understand their point of view, but I always say to them, like, there is a big difference between Brazilian teachers and native speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Because first of all, we know exactly what kind of problems you have to face. We
Mm-hmm.
have been down that road before. So we
Mm-hmm.
we we are going to help based on our own experience. I'm not saying that native
Mm-hmm.
speakers cannot help. Of course they can. They
Mm-hmm.
have already taken our courses, but we are as good as, That's what's one thing that I think it was kind of, it's something that really sometimes bothers me. It bothers me a little bit because
Yeah.
students say that, and I say no. We should rely on Brazilian teachers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is one thing
Mm-hmm.
that I've always heard, and
Mm-hmm.
like along my career, and then I'd like to share this with you.
When I am watching something on social medias and they say on the videos, don't say, I skip the video. Don't say, how are you? The
Yeah, yeah.
student who learns, how are you, thinks, oh, I was taught wrong. And he wasn't. It's a clickbait. What is your opinion about that?
Well, I would say I say the other way around. I always say to students, just say
Mm-hmm.
it. Try to make yourself understood. That
Mm-hmm.
what really counts at the end of it. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, but
Yeah.
we need to understand that when you say don't say, don't say, don't say, so it's not gonna be like, especially
Mm-hmm.
beginner ones. What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I learned a long time ago, that it can really greet
Yeah.
someone by asking this person how this person is, like how are you. So I always say to students that we don't have just one way of asking how
Mm-hmm.
someone is. So
Mm-hmm.
you can vary for sure. So once you get used to the way you can ask someone is by asking how are you all the
Mm-hmm.
time, it's time
Mm-hmm.
to change, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be good for your vocabulary range. Just
Mm-hmm.
that. But it's not that
Yeah.
you can say that. Sometimes you watch,
Mm-hmm.
like when you see a movie, for instance, you can
Mm-hmm.
see that people say, how are you? How are you doing? How's it
Yeah.
going? I don't like say don't say that. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
With this English that you have, a very high level of English, how was your first trip abroad? Could you describe?
I really had the best experience ever. The first impression that I had is that sometimes we
Mm,
have to change somehow some explanation that we give to students. We have to make sure that it should really say what the students should use in terms of formal language and informal language.
yeah.
As a friend of mine had told me before, says, Fábio, you know what? You're an English teacher, man. Forget about like giving a lot of explanation in terms of grammar so far. I said, no, I'm not gonna forget about explaining what should be explained. I think we
Mm-hmm.
should show the students the formal way and informal way. And this is what the first feeling that I had. When I was there, I could see people using a lot of, let's say, wrong word according to the grammar's point of view.
Yeah.
So they was like, oh, I ain't gonna say anything to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I ain't gonna say. So I always say to my students, I am not
Mm-hmm.
going to say. So that was the first feeling I had, and I thought, I think I should really point out the differences between formal and informal
Yeah.
language. So I always teach my students now the formal way they should speak, they
Mm-hmm.
should write much. Okay, write
Mm-hmm.
requires more formal language than speaking, but also
Yeah.
the informal one. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, let me just finish with this, because normally students say, oh, Fabio, I don't want to sound that way. I don't want to say I ain't gonna say anything, for example. Say,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. As long as you can be capable of understanding them when they
Mm-hmm.
say, because that's the point. The closer you get to the way they speak, the better your understanding will be, for sure.
Yes.
So that's why I always explain, no, you have the informal way and you have just to stick to it sometimes.
I agree. I totally agree with you. What is the biggest difference culturally that you could see from Brazil and from the States? How can you compare both countries? And
Well, I would say that here in Brazil, we have the habits of cut people off.
yeah,
It's crazy, because you start speaking and people do not let you
yeah,
finish. That
yeah,
was the first thing that that was a good feeling that I had in the States, because we start speaking, everyone just
yeah,
looking at you, they staring at you and let you finish. Then they can have their turn. That's kind of the first
yeah,
impression.
absolutely.
So this
Mm-hmm.
is one thing. The other one
Mm-hmm.
is like they really respect your individuality. You
Yeah.
have something that we call it private bubble. You have your own space. So
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna just let in if I let you. Okay, so you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
come
Mm-hmm.
in if I let you. So otherwise, no way out. So here in Brazil, sometimes people don't have this way of being. They go like
Mm-hmm.
they don't care. And another thing, like, I know I'm not here to judge anyone, but we
Yeah.
have our ways of being. So sometimes we just touch and poke people all the time. They don't like this
Yeah.
kind of stuff, right? So it should be
Yeah.
formal
Yeah.
somehow. I remember that my friend introduced me to someone else, and this person, even believe it, like almost she was just looking at me, and I was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" So it was about like shaking hands or something, and she was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" That was
Mm-hmm.
all. So here in Brazil it's different. Normally we touch people, we somehow we kiss. So this
Mm-hmm.
is one thing that I noticed that was completely different.
Yeah, I agree with you. Fabio, let me
Yeah,
ask you one last question. How do you see yourself in 5 years?
that's a good question. And sometimes I would say that I was talking, believe it, with a friend of mine about this
Mhm.
because he asked me that, and I said, well, sometimes I don't even have time to stop like thinking about the future, and I and I'm kind of a person who likes to seize the moment. But of course, we need
Yeah.
to plan. Well,
Mhm.
I see myself as a very well-known teacher, like the social media and stuff, like
Yeah.
teaching more students,
Mhm.
helping more people to learn English. That's
Mhm.
what I want to, and I want to show them that it's possible to learn
Mhm.
English without a lot of Portuguese influence.
Yeah.
This is the feeling that I don't like. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not. Yeah, again, I'm gonna say everyone has their way of teaching, but I
Mhm.
don't believe in this way that you keep translating all the time. You have the feeling
Mhm.
that you can learn, you can understand,
Mhm.
fine, but it has to do with immediatism. People are very immediate. They wanted
Yeah.
everything for yesterday, and I think you should just hold on to a little bit. Just calm down. You're gonna have the moment. So you
Yeah.
should be
Yeah.
when you learn Portuguese, for instance.
Mhm.
We used to listen Portuguese a lot until today. So it's
Mhm.
like, what's the big difference between someone who studies English in Brazil and someone
Mhm.
who studies English abroad? It's just
Yes.
because even if they don't want to, they're gonna be like listen to
Mhm.
English 24 hours a day.
Mhm.
So that's
Yes.
what I believe in. So it takes a little bit more time, but you should really be patient for
Mhm.
sure. And that's I think you should show the students, like from my point of view, the best way to teach.
Yeah. Of course. So now we can go to the rapid round game because we're getting to the end of the interview. And I'm
Okay.
gonna start. So being an English teacher in Brazil for me is
Is challenging, but it's amazing.
yes. Traveling for me is
One of the best things you can ever try. I mean, you can try in your life. It's one of the best things. So you should really travel a lot if you have the time and if you have the money as well, for sure.
my family is.
Everything, everything that I do, it's for my family. So
Hmm.
sometimes we can't really feel that you don't have a lot of motivation. But then I
Hmm.
have a 2-year-old boy, so when I'm looking at him, my
Yes.
motivation, gets back, and that's it. My family is everything for sure.
The ugliest word in English for me is.
It's a good question. I don't like the word "God damn it." I
Ah.
don't know why. I have
Hmm.
a really bad feeling when I don't like this word. I don't like this word
Hmm.
for sure.
The most beautiful word in English for me is.
Help. Believe it. Help.
Yes.
Why is that about help? Because I think we need help, and everyone needs help somehow. Here we're talking about English, but we
Yeah.
need to help people. New people need to have the help,
Yeah.
and to do that, so you need to be
Yeah.
ready for
Peace is.
everything. So we are going through a very hard moment now in work, and
Yeah.
I think you should have peace and all kind
Hmm.
of peace you can possibly imagine.
Hmm.
Financial peace, mental peace, everything.
Hmm.
Peace is everything, my friend.
Dream or reason.
Dream, reason. So, but yeah, dream. I think
Yeah.
we need to dream. This is what makes us alive.
Yeah.
We have to
Yeah.
dream. And
Yeah.
if you have a dream, it's not really, not gonna be like I would say, a unfulfilled dream. It's not
Hmm.
that. It's something that we
Yes.
can really reach. Of course, we have a dream, but go for it.
Hmm. Now I am on the hot seat and you can ask me your questions.
Okay. Okay, Rod. Teaching English is
My life.
wow. That's intense. Okay. So, your family is
My family is my foundation,
okay. That's
my
beautiful.
biggest foundation, you know.
No.
I need them with me and whatever they need me for, I'm there for them.
Okay. So, what what would you say to someone who wants to learn English from the basic, but has no idea what English is?
From now on, you're going to learn how to crack a new code. And if you like puzzles, there you have it. You know, I think it's awesome.
Love is
What the word desperately needs right now
time for you
is very fast. Sometimes time for me is very slow. I like philosophy a lot. And the first question that you learn when you are studying philosophy is, what is time? If it's a good thing, the time goes by so fast. If it's a bad thing, the time goes by so slowly. Time is
okay.
everything.
And hope is
Even though you have 1 minute left and you know that you're losing, you still have 1 minute to try to win.
true. Yeah, I think I'm done.
Okay. For every guest, I have a sentence, a quote, a takeaway. And for you is nobody does anything alone. But it depends on what we do. So it's up to you to take the chance and to take the risk. When I say nobody does anything alone, we need, as you said, family, we need friends, we need respect, and we need to be true to people. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Of course, I'm going to be polite all the time, but I say what I have to say. I would like to finish saying that it was a great pleasure to have you for an interview. It was really awesome. We could talk for hours about things because we have the same mindset. I think that we are on the same page. And it was really great to record this interview with you.
Thank you. I would say that I'm really happy to be part of your interview. And I
Hmm.
really liked what you said it for sure. Life.
Hmm.
That's why we call it gift, present.
Hmm.
It's the gift that God gave us. So,
Hmm.
and I agree totally. So we need to respect people. We need to show, you
Hmm.
know, you need to understand that people, we have to deal with the differences. That's the
Hmm.
point. People can't really understand that. But
Hmm.
that's it. Thank you very much for being part of our interview. So it
Yeah,
was my pleasure.
of course. Thank you for your time. It was amazing. Thank you indeed. This was my friend Fábio. All his socials are going to be in the description box down below. I hope you liked it as much as I did. See you next week. Thank you, Fábio.
Thank you, my friend. Take care.
Hello, it's Rod's friend here, Gino from Real Everyday English. Sorry for interrupting your video. I just want to make a quick recommendation that you subscribe to Rodrigo's channel. He's an amazing guy, he's so humble, he's so dedicated, and he creates absolutely fantastic content. See you people soon. Bye bye, God bless.